Imagine a group of criminals pulling off what they think is a perfect kidnapping. A young girl, an isolated mansion, millions of dollars on the line. But as they settle in, strange things start happening. One of them disappears, doors lock on their own, and suddenly it's clear. They're not alone. Something terrifying is inside that house with them, and it's not what they expected. As the tension builds, they realize this isn't just a ransom job anymore. Something much darker is at play. Stay with me now. Welcome to Peak Plot Recaps. If you're here, you're probably ready to dive straight into some epic movies without the boring stuff. We're all about breaking down the coolest and most intense stories from the screen, quick, simple, and straight to the good parts. First, let's see what we are about to deal with real quick before we jump into the recap. So grab some snacks, sit back, and relax. Today, I'm going to explain a 2024 American horror thriller movie, Abigail, directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett with a 6.6 out of 10 IMDb rating. Abigail takes us on a thrilling, darkly comedic ride into the unknown. The movie centers on the kidnapping of a 12-year-old ballet dancer named Abigail, who, turns out, isn't just a defenseless little girl. The plot mixes crime, suspense, and supernatural terror in ways you won't expect. And trust me, this shit gets wild fast. The kidnappers have no idea what they're in for, but you're about to find out. If you're into horror with a twist, subscribe and hit that like button. And now, spoilers ahead. The movie opens with an unsettling scene of young Abigail, gracefully practicing ballet in an empty theater. She moves with the elegance and focus that comes from years of discipline. The camera lingers on her, giving us a sense of her vulnerability. From the shadows, a group of criminals is preparing to execute a meticulously planned kidnapping. These aren't just random thugs. They each have a role, making them a dangerous team. They're like a sinister version of the Rat Pack, each hiding behind a code name. Joey, Frank, Sammy, Peter, Rickles, and Dean. Abigail's day starts off as any other, but the tension rises as the criminals set their plan in motion. The group's hacker, Sammy, uses her skills to disable the security cameras outside Abigail's house, while the sniper, Rickles, takes position. They're watching her every move as she wraps up her practice and heads home. Unbeknownst to her, a tracker has already been planted on her car. When Abigail steps into her vehicle, she has no idea she's being followed by the team of kidnappers, who are watching and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Abigail arrives home and is greeted by silence. The criminals have already broken into her house, and 3 of them lie in wait in her bedroom. One of them, Joey, isn't quite on board with the plan. She didn't know they were kidnapping a child. But Lambert, the mastermind behind the operation, has made it clear there's no turning back. The team is in too deep, and they need to finish what they've started. As Abigail walks into her room, the group makes their move. There's a brief struggle, but they quickly overpower her with a sedative. Joey's reluctance is palpable, but she still goes along with the plan. The kidnappers swiftly exit the house, loading Abigail into a van and heading to a secluded location, Wilhelm Manor. The manor is an old, eerie mansion in the middle of the woods, far from civilization. Perfect for a crime like this, right? But there's something about the house that feels off. It's not just an ordinary hideout. Upon arrival, they're greeted by Lambert, the man behind the plan. He gives the group strict orders. They are to guard Abigail for 24 hours, and then they will receive a hefty reward of $50 million once the ransom is paid. Everyone gets an equal share, $7 million each. But there's a catch. Lambert doesn't want anyone sharing their real names or personal information. They must use only their Rat Pack-inspired aliases. Now, let's meet the kidnappers. There's Joey, who used to be an army medic and is now a recovering drug addict. She's got a softer side, which we already saw when she hesitated to participate in the kidnapping. Then there's Frank, a former NYPD detective who's tough and no nonsense. Sammy is the tech genius, a thrill-seeking hacker who's in it for the excitement more than the money. Rickles is a former Marine sniper, and he's clearly got some serious skills. Peter is the muscle, big, dumb, and used to working for the mob. And then there's Dean, the driver, who's probably the most dangerous of the bunch. He's a sociopath with a lack of empathy that makes him unpredictable. As the team settles into the mansion, the dynamics between them begin to take shape. Joey, being the most conflicted about the situation, takes it upon herself to care for Abigail. She loosens the little girl's handcuffs and even removes her blindfold when she complains that it's too tight. This interaction feels almost tender, especially when Joey reveals that she has a son who is the same age as Abigail. She's not just a criminal, she's a mother with a conscience. But Abigail is no ordinary child. As Joey tends to her, Abigail tells her something chilling. "My father doesn't care about me. He's not going to pay the ransom." She says it so calmly, with a certain darkness that hints at something more sinister lurking beneath the surface. And then she apologizes to Joey for what's going to happen to her. This statement leaves Joey shaken. It's as if Abigail knows something the others don't. Meanwhile, the rest of the team isn't doing so well. Dean, who's always looking for trouble, starts snooping around the mansion. He's drunk and careless, which makes him the perfect target for whatever is lurking in the shadows. He stumbles into the basement, where strange things begin to happen. A door opens by itself, and before Dean can figure out what's going on, something grabs him. His screams echo through the mansion, and Sammy is the first to find him. Decapitated, his body slumped in a chair. The discovery of Dean's body sends the group into a panic. The fear becomes palpable as they realize they aren't alone in the mansion. The team begins to suspect that Christoph Laser, Abigail's father, has sent his infamous enforcer, Valdez, to take them out. Valdez is the stuff of legend, an unstoppable killer who works for Laser and leaves a trail of mutilated bodies wherever he goes. The group quickly understands that they've made a huge mistake by getting involved with Laser. Not only are they stuck in a house with no way out, but now they're being hunted. As the group tries to figure out what to do, Joey becomes increasingly concerned about Abigail's safety. She confronts Frank, the most level-headed of the group, and asks him to find out more about Abigail's father. Frank goes to Abigail's room and tries to intimidate her into revealing more information. That's when Abigail drops the bombshell. Her father is Christoph Laser, one of the most dangerous and powerful men in the criminal underworld. Frank is visibly shaken, and he immediately returns to the group, announcing that he's leaving. He knows they'll all die if Laser finds them. After Frank shares his plan to flee, chaos erupts within the group. Dean's death has everyone on edge, and now they're dealing with the terrifying revelation that they've kidnapped the daughter of a crime lord. Joey, still shaken by Abigail's earlier cryptic apology, decides to check on the girl again. But things take a darker turn when she begins to piece things together. Joey confronts Abigail, pressing her for more details, and the young girl's eerie calmness only raises more questions. It's here that Abigail reveals the truth in her own terrifying way. She is Valdez. Abigail, the seemingly helpless ballet dancer, is actually the very person they fear, the legendary enforcer Valdez. But there's more. Abigail isn't just an ordinary criminal. She's something far worse. She transforms into a vampire right in front of Joey's eyes. Joey stands frozen as Abigail's injuries heal almost instantly, her youthful face twisted with a sinister grin that sends chills down Joey's spine. This is no ordinary child, and now it's clear that the kidnappers are trapped in the mansion with a monster. Frank, Joey, Sammy, and Peter try to fight back, but their makeshift weapons, garlic, crucifixes, and wooden stakes, prove useless against Abigail's supernatural strength. She toys with them, moving with inhuman speed and agility, easily dodging their attacks and laughing at their feeble attempts to stop her. It becomes clear that there's no way to beat her with brute force. The kidnappers are outmatched, As the tension mounts, Joey makes a bold move. She remembers the sedative they used to knock Abigail out during the kidnapping, and with quick thinking, she manages to inject her with it again, incapacitating the vampire for a brief moment. The team takes this opportunity to imprison Abigail in an iron cage they find in the basement. But even then, they know it's only a matter of time before she escapes. She's furious, but also amused. She begins to reveal things about the group that none of them should know. Turns out Abigail, or Valdez as we now know her, orchestrated the entire kidnapping. Through Lambert, she arranged for the group to abduct her so she could kill them one by one. Each member of the group has wronged her father in some way, and now she's out for revenge. Joey is horrified to realize that Abigail has been playing them from the very start. Abigail, centuries old and far more dangerous than anyone could have imagined, takes great pleasure in recounting the sins of each team member. Sammy, the thrill-seeking hacker, used her skills to steal millions from Laser's business, funneling it into offshore accounts. Peter, the dim-witted mob enforcer, betrays Laser by stealing from his crew. And Frank, the former detective, was once part of an undercover operation that led to the arrest of several high-ranking members of Laser's crime family. Joey herself isn't innocent either. Abigail reveals that Joey, a former army medic, was responsible for the accidental death of someone very important to Laser during her time as a shady underground doctor. Abigail taunts them, mocking their attempts to escape. But as much as she enjoys tormenting them, she's also growing impatient. She offers them a deal. Whoever helps her escape from the cage will be spared. The group, already fracturing under the pressure, starts to turn on each other. Peter, driven by fear and desperation, is the first to crack. He tries to free Abigail, but Joey shoots him to prevent the rest of them from falling into Abigail's trap. The remaining group tries to come up with a plan, but their options are limited and time is running out. Joey is the only one thinking clearly, and she decides to take matters into her own hands. She confronts Frank, who has been acting suspiciously ever since they learned the truth about Abigail's identity. And it turns out Joey was right to be suspicious. Frank has made a deal with Lambert to become a vampire himself. In a shocking turn of events, Frank allows Lambert to turn him into one of the undead. Lambert, who had been working for Abigail all along, bites Frank and begins the process of turning him into a vampire. But Frank has his own agenda. After his transformation, he betrays Lambert, staking him through the heart and watching as he disintegrates into ashes. Now, Frank is stronger and more dangerous than ever. His humanity is gone, replaced by the bloodlust of a newly turned vampire. But Frank isn't done. Reveling in his newfound power, he turns his attention to Joey, who is horrified by what he's become. Frank corners her, taunting her with the same deal Abigail offered earlier. Join him or die. He even goes as far as biting her, intending to turn her into his vampire thrall, someone who will obey his every command. Frank's ultimate plan is to have Joey kill Abigail and then eventually turn on her own son. But here's the twist. Frank, despite his strength, is inexperienced with his new abilities. Joey somehow resists his control. Joey fights back, using every bit of strength she has left. She teams up with Abigail, an uneasy alliance, given everything that's happened, but it's their only chance of survival. Together, they manage to overpower Frank. Joey stabs him with the very stake he intended to use on Abigail, and the two women watch as he explodes into a shower of blood and ash. The threat is over, but Joey's victory feels hollow. She's exhausted, emotionally wrecked, and unsure of what the future holds. But the nightmare isn't over yet. As Joey catches her breath, preparing to leave the mansion, Christoph Laser himself arrives. He's furious, ready to kill Joey for kidnapping his daughter. The scene is tense, As Laser looms over Joey, his anger palpable, but Abigail steps in. She defends Joey, telling her father that Joey was there for her when he wasn't. Abigail stands up to the man she's been trying to please for centuries. Laser, though still enraged, relents. He kisses Joey's hand, a gesture of respect, or maybe a warning, and allows her to leave. Joey, battered, bloodied, and barely alive, stumbles to the van and drives away from the mansion. Her thoughts are on her son, the one person she's been trying to protect throughout this entire ordeal. And with that, the movie ends. This movie serves up chills, dark humor, and suspense, leaving viewers with the unforgettable message: things aren't always what they seem. In the end, the kidnapper's plan backfires in the most terrifying way imaginable, giving us one eerie tale of twisted family loyalty and secrets. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Let us know what you think about this movie, and see you next time.